So yeah, this is it's a first for us. We don't really know what we're doing. None of us really ever knows what we're doing. We're just trying to figure it out. And with today's turnout and the outpouring of support for our mom, it's clear she was a very special person. Loved, round of applause, sure, I'll take it. She was a very special person. She was loved, respected, and admired by anyone fortunate enough to have known her. The last 2 months have been heart-wrenching and heartwarming, somber and joyous. We've all shed many tears, but they weren't all out of sadness. Our family's love language is humor. And during dark times, it has been our light. Mom loved to laugh, and she loved life. She was strong, resolute, optimistic, realistic, charismatic, authentic, pragmatic, enthusiastic. My mom was fantastic! The only reason why we are doing so well is because Mom did great. She was nothing short of inspirational. That applies to the end of her life and everything that preceded it. Over the last 75 years, Mom has made some incredibly close friends, many of whom are here today. But there is one name specifically that's special, and when repeated, proves her popularity. Alice. Who the fuck is Alice? Nailed it. This is a celebration of life. This is not a sad funeral. This is not a religious wake. It is a celebration of a life well lived. In many ways, we've been celebrating Mom for the last 2 months to the day. On June 21st, summer solstice, she turned 75 years young. It's also the day we were told her cancer was more than likely terminal. With the tumors inoperable and her options limited, she was given weeks to live. Now, if you did not know, Mom was a medical transcriptionist. She typed for a living at a blazing speed of 120 words per minute. Upon hearing the bad news, she casually said, "Well, I've given the rest of my work to V. It seems like a good a time as any to retire." Where is V? Hi, V. Round of applause for V, everybody! Now, if there was ever a time to be sad, if there was ever a time to give in to the doom and gloom and feel sorry for oneself, that was the moment. But not for my mom. There was no time for self-pity. She immediately understood the assignment. She had information. She knew a lot. And she knew we knew nothing. Including the names of the people in this room. I think it's important to understand. You guys, of course, I think you guys probably wearing name tags. Most of you are wearing name tags. We ran out. Well, we got more actually. So if you don't have a name tag, I would encourage you at the break to grab a name tag. I would really appreciate it. And I think that what's important to realize is the reason we need name tags is because the person who usually reminds us of your names is the same person we're honoring today. That evening, after she had found out this news on her birthday. With no time to waste, Mom kicked us out of her hospital room. And on the same day she retired, she got to work, as demonstrated here. Literally, as we were leaving, Mom muttered to herself, "Tonight's gonna be a good night." And she began documenting as much as she could, everything and anything to help ease the transition to life without her. Mom has always been inspirational, but her actions and attitude that day and for the next 17 days took her inspiration to the next level. Mom inspired us. We inspired her. And I know our family has inspired you guys. And as many of you know, I live in Amsterdam. When I heard that Mom was in the hospital, I flew home. Claire and Jamie, they had already stepped up tremendously. They began helping out Mom and Dad with everything that they needed. And I had to step up too. Round of applause for Nick, everybody. I began writing down questions. Anything that I thought might be helpful to know if Mom did indeed pass. From passwords and pins to what bills are paid manually, life insurances, burial or cremation, church or golf course, how to keep Dad happy, what are your hopes for Dad and Eagle View? And for those of you who do not know, Eagle View is the name of the new development that's currently being built in Gibsons that my parents purchased a few years ago. Now, Claire, Chris, Ruby, and Julian are already in Gibsons, and it was the idea for them to live out their golden years. Now, when our mom got sick, obviously, us kids, we questioned those plans. And so, in our discussions, and specifically one day when Claire had to go back to Gibsons to be with her family, Jamie went to the cabin for the day to take care of a few things, and it was me and my mom and my dad. And we asked questions, and one specific question was, what do you want to do with Eagle View? And we came up with a plan A to plan E. Plan A was they both move to Eagle View and live out their golden days. That's obviously out. To plan E, which Dad sells Eagle View and stays in our family home in Lynn Valley. Well, Mom made it abundantly clear that plan E was not a plan at all. She believes that the best thing for my dad is to move over to Gibsons. Now, we will miss our family home, especially the basement. It's full of wonderful memories. From our parents' parties to parties without our parents. Of which there were many, more than my dad knows. Also, if you've been there in the last 20 years, you'll realize any of the booze behind the bar is mostly diluted with water. The basement is something we're absolutely going to miss. And again, if you have not been to our basement, you would, if you have been, you'll know that my dad, about almost 50 years ago, built an authentic British pub. Yes. And he named that pub the Red Lion. Yes. Now, flashback 25 years ago, my friends and I, many of whom are here, were partying in the basement. And then my buddy Scott, who's one of your greeters, Scott, he turned to me and said, "Hey, Neil, did your dad call his pub the Red Lion after your mom?" I was like, no way, no. And then I thought, yeah, maybe, actually. And from that moment on, Mom's new nickname was the Red Lion. I'm so sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry. So a flash forward 2 months ago, I documented all of Mom's answers to, excuse me, I'm talking, Jamie, thank you very much.
You told me you wanted to show
I've hidden a few of the slides, most of the slides from my family, so they're also seeing these for the first time too. I documented all of Mom's answers to all of my questions into a convenient and comprehensive 12-page package entitled Operation Red Lion Flying. It helped us immensely to know exactly what our mom's wishes were. It was so successful, in fact, that Dad, whose nickname is Maverick, or Mav for short, he already told us that he wants to make something similar for himself. In fact, he already named it himself. Dad, what was that name again? What was your equivalent to Red Lion Flying?
Oh, Mav moving on?
Mav moving on. Oh, that's Red Lion Flying, sorry. This is Mav moving on. Hey, Dad. I'll always be your wingman, bro. I'll always. Now, we hope to not need this document for many years. But that document and making of it and presenting it to my family was just one moment of many moments of joy. Now, I've clicked this slide a little bit early, but that's fine. A few days after Mom's birthday, she began to feel a little better. And although she was obviously far from being out of the woods, the doctors allowed her to come home. This coincided well with the arrival of our mom's sister, Jean from England, and along with two of our cousins, Chris and Katie. Both are probably watching the live stream. Hey, guys. Now, on Wednesday, June 26th, we threw our mom a very well-deserved retirement and belated birthday party, as seen here. Now, naturally, knowing us, we decided to take it to the next level. Now, you can kind of see in the background, there's a guy walking towards the house. Eventually, we would come into the house, and yes, taking it to the next level meant that we hired a male stripper. Really authentic. That's actually Mom accidentally butt dialed 911. That is the true story. Shortly thereafter, we took the party downstairs. And now, before we see the next video, some context might be helpful. On this day, we really wanted to celebrate Mom, but naturally, we wanted to do something special for Dad as well. Now, we decided to get him a portrait of himself. Now, if you've been to the Red Lion before,
Yes.
yeah, you would have seen.
Pleasant.
Yeah, you would have seen this portrait here. Yeah, we call him a D'Artagnan. The Laughing Cavalier, I think, is another. The Fourth Musketeer, I believe. And anyways, this is, of course, the D'Artagnan, the original, as you can also see from the slide. It is the centerpiece of the Red Lion. And, well, here's Dad going to be standing in front of it very proudly, of course. And we brought it here just because it makes it kind of feel like home, you know. And it actually D'Artagnan kind of looks a little bit like my dad. And we would always make jokes when we were holding parties with our buddies that this guy's our great uncle. And, well, we decided to switch this portrait for this portrait. A buddy of mine in Amsterdam, he's an artist and he does caricatures. And we just figured that it might be funny to blow it up, put it into the picture frame, just to see if Dad would notice. Anyways, here's a little video put together by Camilla. There's a round of applause for Camilla, please. She's helped out tremendously with everything, all of the PowerPoints and this video. Please do enjoy this video of the retirement party downstairs.
Welcome everybody to Mother's Retirement Party.
Happy retirement, dear son. Happy retirement to you. Hey!
Dad, did you notice all the photos?
Yeah.
Anything else you noticed, Father?
I've got to look around and see what you stole. You wouldn't believe how much of this stuff ended up in his office in Amsterdam.
Have you noticed anything that's at all different, though? Everything's pretty normal.
If you could choose one thing that personifies this bar, what would it be? Like if it, one
object.
item, what is it that really sums up?
Well, what the?
But we do have one more celebration to acknowledge tonight.
Happy birthday to you.
I love you guys.
Three, two, one, big smile.
The whole evening was super spontaneous and incredibly joyous, full of love and laughs. Mom continued to feel better for a few days after that, but unfortunately on June 30th, she was readmitted to hospital. It would turn out to be for the last time. Physically, she was becoming weaker. Psychologically, she was as strong as ever. With Mom being Mom and never one to be left out of the family fun, we made a plan to watch old home movies together while she FaceTimed in from the hospital. Now, Mom's memory was second to none. So with her incredible ability to remember dates, details, names, and faces, we proceeded to enjoy 2 nights in a row of watching old family movies. Some from as far back as the 60s and 70s. And it was mostly recorded by Mom's brother, Uncle Roger, aka Unky R. Unky R, where you at? Don't you hide, Unky R. There, up, there he is. 1, 2, 3, we love you, Unky R. We got a thumbs up. That's the most emotion that man's ever shown. Okay. Jamie's gonna give him a hug.
Bring it to the front.
Oh, you bring it to the front? That's a good idea. Family at the front. Now, while we watched these old home movies, Mom, of course, played the role of commentator, telling us the who, where, and when of it all. She had the memory of an elephant, the heart of a lion, and the hair also the lion. And I feel a bit bad, actually. I feel a bit bad for photoshopping my mom as a red lion. So here she is as Wonder Woman. That's more appropriate. Now, a couple days after that, we got news that things had unfortunately taken a turn for the worse. It was made clear to us that nothing else could be done. It was only a matter of time. Mom loved the nurses and they loved her. In fact, on her birthday, she requested we bring in cupcakes for all of the nurses. Classic mom move. She was charismatic, charming, and just a really, really sweet human being. And all qualities that led Mom to being upgraded to what can only be described as the VIP penthouse suite of the palliative care ward at Lionsgate Hospital. The transition to making her feel comfortable in that new room did take some time, but when we got there, it was perfect. And for the rest of my mom's days, it was home. Now, throughout this entire process, our family has become closer than ever. With our immediate family, of course, but our extended family as well. Uncle R, Ruby, and Julian, where are you? Way at the back. Why are you guys way at the back? This is family seat. Front. Come to the front. Round of applause for Julian, everybody. Round of applause for Ruby, everybody. Yeah, move this chairs over. No problem. And yeah, so between the extended family of Ruby and Julian and cousins and aunts and uncles, just here and in England, we all have become much, much closer. And this is the silver lining. And our mom saw this. She was witness to this, and she appreciated this. At one point, Claire texted us from the hospital telling us that Mom was literally crying tears of gratitude for how things were unfolding. And every day that Mom was in the hospital, we were too. We decided to set aside some one-on-one time for all of us to be able to say whatever we needed to say. And the moment I sat down, she told me that she loved me. And she told me that she was proud of me. And I told her the same. Most people didn't actually know the severity of Mom's sickness. But it was mostly family and a close circle of friends. So if you did not know, but you wished you did, it's okay. Because my mom knew how much you loved her. And for those of you who did know and did reach out, my mom said that the outpouring of support had been nothing short of amazing. She was so grateful and was blown away by all of the accolades. She had no idea how inspirational she was until you guys told her. She basically received an advanced copy of this memorial. And she also told me that she gave me permission for any joke I wanted to say. So anybody who's offended, she's my mom and not yours. For those of you who did not know, Mom opted for MAID, which stands for Medical Assistance in Death. Mom loved to have control in life, so it only made sense that she would have control in death. She did not want to suffer, but more importantly, she did not want us to suffer. We are so incredibly fortunate to have this as an option here in Canada. MAID was only legalized in 2018, but it's already provided thousands upon thousands of Canadians the right to take control of their own lives and die with dignity. Signing those documents and being approved as a candidate gave Mom an immense sense of peace. Honestly, I didn't even know about MAID. When Mom told me it was her wish to have MAID, I said, yes, I agree. With you in the hospital, the house is a goddamn mess. Maybe you can wish for a butler too. Oh, I made a stupid joke about my mom at her memorial. Sue me. Sue. Her name was Sue. It's fine. It was on the afternoon of July 7th that Mom told us that she was ready to go home. Now, of course, going home meant she was ready. We arranged for it to be done in the morning, at home, which meant one more night in the hospital. And at that point, we all decided, I can't make eye contact with you, I'm sorry. That morning, we decided that for the rest of my mom's time here on Earth, we would be together as a family, and we were not going to leave that hospital room without each other. And our dad, bless his heart, he was initially reluctant to accept Mom's decision to go with Maid, at least until the final night. The moment he did, he gave her the greatest gift a loved one could offer, acceptance of her dying wish. Upon hearing this, Mom simply said to us, now it is complete. And from that moment onwards, in that hospital room, everything became lighter. Like there was a weight that had been lifted. And there is nothing left to do but to completely be present with each other and enjoy our final night together as a family. Our dad, who told us he wasn't quite sure why he felt so calm, fell asleep quickly and peacefully on the lazy boy recliner, especially when we put some noise-canceling headphones over his ears. Our mom rested comfortably too. And with us 3 kids literally hanging on her every word, all of which were positive, including the word perfect over and over again, it was quite honestly the most beautiful and sacred night of my life. By morning, Mom had faded and seemed too fragile to be transported home. We decided to go ahead with Maid at the hospital instead of at home. It wasn't her first choice of locations, but home is family. And our family was there. It was as quick and as peaceful as we were promised. Our mom brought us so close together in life, and somehow she has brought us even closer in death. I'm so grateful for her and so grateful for this entire process. Other than it happening 30 years too early, it was literally perfect. I'm so incredibly proud of my family. I'm so incredibly proud of my family, especially my dad. He's had his struggles, but even he'll admit he's doing better than he thought. A few times in his grief, he has said, life's not fair. And I understand, but honestly, life has been very fair. It's so fair, it feels a bit unfair. And now, I said it to you at your 70th birthday roast at Eagles Club, but I'll say it again, Dad, your goal in life was to give your kids a wonderful upbringing, one better than the one you had. And as far as the upbringing me, Jamie, and Claire had, safe to say you succeeded in your goal. You took great care of us, and now it's our turn to take great care of you. We were so proud of Mom, and we are so proud of you, Dad. In fact, sometimes Claire, Jamie, and I, we look at each other, and then we look at our dad, and we say, where did we go right? Thank you guys very much.
Can't even try to follow that. Thank you all for being here. It's amazing to see all of you, and I wish that I had more time with each of you. I've said hello to lots of you already, but just know that we're so grateful that you're here, and we know how much our mom meant to all of you. And it's beyond words to see so many familiar faces here. Dear Mom, I know that some people here might look at us with sympathy, and that's understandable. We've just lost the most important person in our lives. Yes, we're grieving, and this is really, really hard. Our hearts are broken. These things are all true. And this is the inevitable cost of loving someone as much as we love you. That one day, that person we love will no longer be with us. And the love that we had in tangible form will first shift to something that is bittersweet in the immediate aftermath of our loss, to something that will only become more precious with the passage of time and the settling in of our new reality without you. The truth is, though, I know I speak for my brothers when I say we feel like the luckiest people. We had the unimaginable good fortune to be born to happy, adoring parents in a safe and peaceful place, knowing we were loved unconditionally every day of our lives. So, while the sympathy is understandable and we sure wish we had you with us for another couple of decades, please know that we will never take for granted the gift that you gave us. Mom, my whole life, people have compared me to you. And I've often heard, oh, you have the exact same smile, or gosh, you two could be sisters. At which point, you would immediately break into singing the opening lines of Sisters by Rosemary Clooney. And I would turn beet red. It's almost the color of your hair. Completely mortified. What I didn't appreciate when I was younger was that there was no greater compliment than to know I'd inherited some of your traits, physically or otherwise. You have always emulated resilience, fortitude, and humor. It's safe to say that your early life experience has helped to shape the person you became. Having faced your first major health crisis as an infant, when you lost your eye to cancer, you became a fighter. With your fiery red hair, perhaps it was inevitable. My favorite story of you when you were a child was recently told to us by your oldest friend and neighbor, Mary Martin, whose family affectionately referred to you as Ginger Tom. One day, you knocked on their door to see if the girls could play, but you were told by their mother that they were busy. Mary's mother was unable to close the door. She looked down, only to see your foot sticking in the door to keep it open. That was you. No was never an obstacle to anything. You would demonstrate this tenacity over and over throughout your life, facing adversity and never being afraid to speak up or to be the squeaky wheel. You embraced life full on, always finding the fun. There was never unnecessary drama when we were growing up. We never had to worry that we'd offended you. You didn't sugarcoat things or pander, but you were always straightforward and honest and loving. What you saw was what you got. Easy breezy. It probably wasn't until I became a mother myself that I was better able to truly embrace those comparisons between us. I was able to understand the patience, the sacrifice, the frustration, the adoration. One of the most special moments of my life was having you by my side when Ruby was born. When Julian was born, you were drinking margaritas on the beach in Mexico. Sorry. where you may or may not have been wondering who the fuck was Alice. In your defense, Julian was a bit premature, and you flew home immediately upon hearing the news of your first grandson. You taught me many things. The most valuable was how to be a good mom. You have been an integral part of Ruby and Julian's lives, and they will carry memories of you in their heart forever. I see so much of you in them, the feist, the stubbornness, the beauty, and not to mention their fiercely competitive streak. At the very end of your life, it was the greatest honor to be with you and care for you. We didn't ask why. Instead, we said thank you, thank you, thank you. I will carry you with me every day and never forget how lucky we are. I love you so much. I'd like to introduce my brother Toby.
Me and my brother are very different. I hate this. Also, I got the hair, so. Okay. So I want to speak about my mom's influence on me and how she's directed me on the right path in so many aspects of my life. Every year, my entire school experience ended the same way. Report cards would come around and say something like, Jamie is a nice kid, but talks too much in class. He's kind to others, but very distracting, and needs to learn to apply himself. When my mom would bring up his concern with Bran, she would simply say, don't worry about Jamie, he will get by on his personality. And Mom knew she had to nurture my strengths and help me get through school and to the next stage of my life. After graduating by the skin of my teeth, Mom knew that my skill set was best suited in hospitality, and she had a vision for my future. She helped me get my resume together, drove me around to every hotel downtown, and would wait, illegally parked in the alley. Then she would take me to the next hotel a few blocks away until we'd hit any place that was hiring. Each time, HR would say the same thing. Thank you very much. We'll keep your resume on file for 3 months. Despite my extensive experience making blizzards at Dairy Queen, I got no callbacks. In 3 months, we would do it all again. It was by the second or third round. That someone finally remembered me, and I got a call back at last. Hotel Georgia was the start of my career in hospitality, an industry I made a career out of to this day. In late 2000, Mom encouraged me to leave Vancouver and find a job in Whistler. She drove me out there for a job fair, and thanks to her initiative, I got a job at the Fairmont Chateau. I'll never forget, a few days before I moved, I was driving over the Second Arrows Bridge when Mom called to give me the news of her first breast cancer diagnosis. Of course, I wanted to stay close to home while she had her treatment, but Mom insisted that I still go, always putting us first and not worrying about herself. She always had the best advice, the right advice. She always said the thing you needed to hear when you needed to hear it most. She always had a positive outlook on life, and she was able to have perspective. Perspective is a word I've found myself using a lot lately. Whenever I've experienced hardship in my life, I've always used perspective to remain positive, whether it's losing a job, ending a relationship. My mantra over the last decade has been, don't be bothered by that which you cannot control. There have been times that I've wondered if the worst should happen, would I be able to maintain the same mindset? My optimism was put to the test when it was clear that Mom's options for treatment were running out. My mantra allowed me to be in the moment during Mom's final few weeks and really focus on what is important. Family, love, connection, and being completely present every step of the way. Knowing that I have the ability to maintain perspective during the most painful experiences gives me a sense of calm, but also a huge sense of power knowing that there's not much I can't overcome after losing my mom. A few days before she passed, we all had some one-on-one times, like Neil said. Before my turn, I was desperately thinking about what profound thing I could ask her or what secret I wanted to share with her, but I had nothing. When losing a loved one, people often speak about regret. One thing I can honestly say is that I had none with my mom. When we had our time to be alone, just the two of us, we realized it had all been said. Lastly, I would like to finish by telling you about 2 moments that I will remember forever. I'm going to bawl my eyes out on this one. One was terrifying, the other was absolutely beautiful, and that beautiful moment was when I needed it the most. Saturday night, we realized that Mom couldn't be left alone anymore, and Neil stepped up and slept over in Mom's room. In the morning, Claire went in early to the hospital to relieve Neil and to be with Mom and Dad. We decided it would be my turn to sleep over Sunday night, so I'd come in later that afternoon. Camilla and I decided to go to the river behind our house for a much-needed cold dip to wash away the stress. I voiced my concerns to Claire and Neil that I had an uneasy feeling that I was going to miss Mom's last breath while I wasn't there. They reassured me that we weren't at that point yet, and that they'd contact me if anything changed. After a 20-minute dip, I came up to see a missed call and a message from Claire saying, "Please don't panic, please drive safe, but get here ASAP. Things have changed, and Mom wants to go home." Immediately I panicked. I started running home, but quickly realized I'd left poor Camilla behind. I stopped, I took a breath, I said to myself, don't be bothered by that which you can't control. As I said before, up to this point, I had no regrets, and I refused to start having any now. Next thing you know, Camilla caught up and started sprinting past me. It was time to run. We got home in record time and jumped in the car. I made a very conscious decision to drive the exact speed limit, including the 30 kilometers an hour down Crookstone Road. I didn't want to crash, I didn't want a speeding ticket, but more importantly, I had forced myself to be content with whatever happens now, as it was out of my hands. No regrets. I finally made it to the hospital and made it to my mom's room. As soon as I walked in, I was reassured that Mom was still with us and that I hadn't missed anything. We still had some time. I lost it. My emotions caught up to me. The adrenaline was wearing off. I just sat with my mom and I held her hand and I bawled my eyes out. I was overcome with emotion. In that moment, my dad came up behind me and started to squeeze my shoulders so tight. Immediately, I felt a sense of calm come over me. I said, "Dad, you're so strong right now. I can feel your strength so much in your hands." To which he replied, "If you want, we can go outside and arm wrestle."
Guess who's with?
The comedic timing of that joke was perfect. Our love language has always been humor. And the fact that my dad in that moment was able to make a joke and show me strength when I needed it the most said everything. I knew we, but more importantly, my dad was going to be okay. And this process has been hard on all of us, but especially on my dad. Before Neil and Claire came to help out, I was dealing with this by myself, trying to be strong for my mom, as any parent hates to see their child upset. Bawling my eyes out to Camilla as I drove home from the hospital. Before I walked in the door, I would wipe away the tears from my face so that Dad couldn't see how upset I was. In that moment, I realized that the roles were now reversed. I needed to take on the adult role and they needed to be taken care of. There's so many ways to perceive this switch in roles. First and foremost is how lucky am I to be able to give back a fraction of the love and care they gave us and to take care of them the way they needed it most, when they needed it the most. But the flip side of that was I just wanted to be a kid again. to tell me not to worry and that everything will be all right. But I didn't have that luxury anymore. But in that moment, I had my mom rubbing my hand, and I had my dad squeezing my shoulders. And in that moment, I could be a kid again for the first time in a long time. And it was so comforting. The people I loved the most was there, showing me love and being strong when I needed it. My dad had a tough time with the process, of course, but when I needed him to be my dad the most, he was. It meant everything to me. I love my family so much, and I miss my mom so much, but I've never been more proud of you, Robinson. But if there's one thing I want people to take from this process, if you have stopped talking to a loved one or you have something you feel you need to say, don't wait until it's too late, because you will have regrets. It's not lost on me that this process has been made significantly easier because of the family that I have. Thank you to my mom and my dad. I couldn't imagine doing this with just one other sibling, let alone on my own. I'd also be remiss not to mention how lucky we are to be in a position emotionally and financially to be so present in this time. I'd like to thank a few people for that. I'd like to thank my beautiful girlfriend Camilla for being me and my family's rock. We moved into the house a few months ago to help with the transition of moving to Gibson's. It's been an absolute blessing in disguise. I also want to thank Claire's husband Chris and their whole family, who's been very supportive. A huge thank you to my business partners, Ethan and Kale, and Neil's partners, Alec, Jesse, and Vinny. The fact that our businesses have been taken care of so that we can be present has been such a blessing, and words aren't enough to express our gratitude. Okay, I'm gonna get Dad to come up here quickly. Before we get
almost forgot my goodness, not like me.
Okay, so while Dad is getting his speech ready, I think we just wanted to quickly update those of you that don't have a clue who Alice is. Okay, so I apologize, Barbara and Norman, if I screw this up a little bit. I'm sure there's details that I might miss out, but you'll get the gist. My parents were on a cruise ship. It stopped off in Mexico with Barbara and Norman and my dad. They ended up going to a very classy spot called Senior Frogs. I got sat in the only table available, which was by the speaker, and they proceeded to order margaritas. I think everyone had the mango or the strawberry margarita, and my mom had the lime margarita, which was significantly stronger. The last thing she remembers is saying, "One more round." Every second or third song that was happening at that bar happened to be Alice, Alice, who the fuck is Alice? They ended up getting back, and this is that dancing. This is Mom passed out on Dad. The fact that this story is so funny is because my mom never lost control. She never drank too much. So the fact that this happened is amazing. Then, as they got back to the cruise ship, this is the part I'll let my dad talk about.
It was quite an ordeal trying to get Sue back to the cruise ship. We managed to get her back into a cab after standing, drinking under these speakers that were the size of Volkswagens, and it was just every other word, every other verse was, "Who the fuck is Alice?" I'd never heard of the song. And so, yeah, as Jamie said, we were just got to the gangplank. We finally got her out of we'd had enough to drink. But Sue said, yeah. I think I mentioned like another drink. So we decided, well, okay, yeah, well, whatever. So we stopped and had another drink. But we were just drinking mango margaritas, which are relatively easy to drink, but the ones she was drinking was actually quite potent. We managed to get out of the restaurant to the sound of Alice, Alice, who the fuck is Alice? So we get her in the cab, she immediately passes out, and then we get to the cruise ship. Now we have to get from the cruise ship, from the cab to the cruise ship, across a big parking lot, and which we did so, and then I had to get myself and Barbara and Norman were ahead of us. So we're going up the gangplank, but Norman's got his arm around one arm of Sue's. I've got the other arm as we're walking up the gangplank. And she was like this all the way up the gangplank, which is okay. So we are now boarding the ship again, and the captain of the ship was welcoming everyone back to the ship, as captains do, right? So as Sue was walking past the captain, he said to her, "Welcome aboard, madam." She turned to him and said, "Who the fuck is Alice?"
So then, after the gangplank, they ended up getting into an elevator, going up to their room. Once they all stepped out of the elevator, they looked, and Mom was just sitting there at the back of the elevator. Let's go, Sue, let's go. Well, next thing you know, the elevator doors closed.
Now, there's about 12 elevators on this ship. She could come back down on any one of them. How the hell am I going to find her again? So I'm going from elevator to elevator every time I open it. For God's sake. So finally an elevator opened, and this old couple walked out holding Sue. And I said, "Oh, thank you so much for helping get Sue back again." You know, she could have been anywhere on the ship. I mean, how would I find her again? He said, "Oh, we tried, and we asked her what level she wanted, and she said, 'I really don't give a fuck.'"
We have some of the most iconic photos of this exact moment, thanks to probably Norman or Barbara. That's the dancing. That's the elevator. That's it? Okay, there's two other ones. Oh, okay, so now what we're going to do, because we weren't sure, when we first told my dad this was what we're going to do, he said, "There's no way I'm going to get everyone here to say, 'Who the fuck is Alice?'" I feel like we've got past that point. This was actually not going to happen until I sat down and Dad realized everyone was laughing, and he's like, "Okay, let's do it." So we could just get everyone to kind of sing along.
I guess she's got a reason, but I just don't want to know. 'Cause for 24 years I've been living next door to Alice. Alice, who the fuck is Alice? 24.
Here is David Robinson.
I thought I'd be singing "Who the fuck is Alice" at a memorial service. Okay, firstly, I'd like to thank the many friends and neighbours who have stepped up with so much food, flowers, etc., plus so much love and emotional support. Thank you all for coming to Sue's celebration of life. It's a testament to how much she was loved. She was beautiful, caring, and annoyingly knowledgeable woman.
She always won the quizzes.
She would answer at the least 75% of the Jeopardy questions on TV, which made me feel like a moron. Which incidentally isn't too hard. Anyways, most of you know I'm a man of very few words.
You're a great publican.
Sue and I first met in a dance club in East London called Oscar's Grotto. She was 18 years old and lived nearby. Well, I was 24 and had just returned with a band from Liverpool after a gig in Germany. Actually, we were so bad we were thrown out. The singer Joey got laryngitis, and one of the amplifiers blew up. Apart from that, everything went great. My buddy Andy, who's here tonight, and I had a few pints, a couple of dances, and then left to catch a bus. Thank goodness the London bus service is so bad. We waited about half an hour and decided to go back to the bar for one last pint. That's when I noticed this beautiful redhead standing next to the band. I plucked up the courage to walk over and ask her to dance. Thank God she said yes. The band were all friends of hers, so she went home in their car, leaving me her phone number. I'm so grateful for that fateful night. The direction of my life was heading was so different to the life I enjoyed as a result of meeting her. She was indeed my savior. It was the beginning of a long, wonderful, loving relationship. Even though technically we weren't together the whole time, me going to live in Jersey and the Channel Islands, and Sue immigrating to Canada with two girlfriends, Mary and Veronica. In 1969, I, along with Andy Aiken, Bernie Tate, who's Andy, unfortunately Bernie's is ill and he can't make it tonight. So along with Andy, who's here tonight, and Mary Martin, a friend of Sue's, who's watching live stream from England, we also immigrated to Montreal and joined Sue. And the friends for a few days, and then all of us took the train to Vancouver. That's when the excitement began. We all found jobs and settled down in the Kitsilano area, myself as an auto and marine mechanic, Sue being a very successful person with the typing skills, quickly found a job as a secretary. We were able to scrape enough money together and bought a 1959 Volkswagen Bug and began our American adventure, exploring 26 states over 5 weeks. Thank God gas was only 25 cents a gallon in those days. In 1972, we flew back to the UK and decided to buy an old Ford Thames van for some adventures in Europe. And Europe and North Africa, what could go wrong? Well, just about everything. A motor mount broke in Paris coming out of an underground parking garage. I fixed it with a piece of wood. Don't ask me how we made it to Africa. That was the start of our dangerous journey across the North African continent, Morocco and Algeria. And Tunisia. In Morocco, I was threatened by a gang after stopping to repair a tire. Not long after that, in Algeria, we were falsely accused of drug smuggling, and I was told that I would be going to jail. If it were not for Sue, I would have been in jail, because her being with me made them change their minds about taking send me to jail. So once again, Sue was my savior. After leaving Tunisia, broke but in love, we went on to the rest of Europe, covering 16 countries in all. In 1977, we settled down in West Vancouver. 2 years later, we got married, and shortly after that, Claire was born. Jamie was born the next year in 1980. Neil was born 2 years later in 1982. It wasn't really as funny then, And yes, I did have to double check with them to make sure I got those years correct. All three of my amazing children are caring human beings of whom I am very proud. Claire and her husband Chris then bless us with two amazing grandchildren, Ruby and Julian, who I'm equally as proud of. Sue meant all the world to me. She signified my life. Thank God that when I asked her, she agreed to be my wife. She fought hard to defeat this despicable disease over the last 25 years. She was a fighter to the end. When Sue was first diagnosed with cancer, it was obviously heartbreaking for everyone. And so I wrote a poem when she was at her lowest. And I think a number of people here know that I thoroughly enjoy poetry. So this is a poem I came up with at that time. When we made our wedding vows, there were no hidden clauses. We hoped for health and happiness, but knew there'd be some pauses. A pause is all we're going to, a chance to reunite, to plan our future as we go from darkness into light. You're still the same old Sudanese, although your hair is spinning. To me, it's still just another step towards a new beginning. You couldn't be more beautiful with or without her. It's just a new experience in which we both can share. Whenever you are challenged, you make us all look bad. Your courage is amazing, the strength I wish I had. There are no words to tell you how much you changed my life and how I thank God every day that you became my wife. I know it's just a cliche, but love does conquer all. The bond we have between us will never let us fall. Without your love, I dread to think of where I'd be today. You gave my life some meaning and helped me find my way. I'll always be there, come what may. I think you know. That's true. I'll always be there, come what may. I think you know that's true. You're everything and more to me. I love you so much, Sue. If I may, I'd just like to tell you some of my philosophies in life that I feel quite strongly about. It's okay to visit the past. Just remember not to stay there. I think that's the title of my book. Yeah, you should read it. Ignoring the lessons from our past condemns us to repeat them. Never be afraid to stand up for what's right. Don't compromise your principles or values, ever. Always maintain your honesty, compassion, and integrity. Don't allow your troubled past, which I had unfortunately, define your optimism for the future. We all know we're not going to live forever. We should always live life every day as though we will. Accumulating monetary wealth never has been and never will be the measure of a man. The true wealth of a person is in the depth of their compassion for others, their commitment to fairness and honesty, and believing in the strength that family values have and what they bring to children and society in general. Most of all, be true to yourself. Be honest in all things. The benefits of telling the truth far outweigh the benefits of lying. And it makes it easier to live with your conscience. To quote a teaching I remember from my Salvation Army days, know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. That's John 8, verse 32. My favorite quotes from George Harrison, who I adored. I loved him. I always loved the Beatles, obviously. All things must pass, and the secret to a fulfilled and contented life is accepting the transient nature of human existence and the triumph of optimism over fatalism. Thank you very much.
Okay, so quick lead into what my dad's going to do next. Obviously, he's from Liverpool, big, huge LFC supporter. Some of you might know that the bucket list item that I have with my dad that I want to check off is coming true September 14th. We have 2 tickets to the Liverpool game. I should thank our beautiful cousins in Liverpool for helping that happen. Basically, you know, the song for the LFC football club is "You'll Never Walk Alone." You know, one day when we realized that Mom couldn't be left alone anymore, and Dad came home, you know, shower up and get changed before he went back into the hospital, me and him were having a very heart-to-heart conversation. We basically talked about, you know, Mom, and I told him that don't worry, Mom will never be alone again. And my dad's biggest fear in life is being alone. And I said to him, you will not be alone. You'll never be alone. Our family motto is you'll never walk alone. At that time, my dad said that he wanted to sing it, and he did. He sang it to me, and I recorded it, and I sent it to some of my best friends, and it was very emotional. He was a little unhappy because he started a little high, so he couldn't quite get to the proper notes. I offered to play that today, and he said, no, I'm going to do it myself. So here is You'll Never Walk Alone.
When you walk through a storm, hold your head up high, and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of a storm, there's a golden sky and a sweet silver song of a lark. Walk on through the wind, walk on through the rain, though your dreams be tossed and blown. Walk on with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk alone. You'll never walk alone.
thank you, Dad, Claire, and Jamie. Beautiful, moving. Yeah, incredible. Very proud of all. Great rendition, Father. We are going to take a break very soon to, grab a drink and use the bathroom, get some fresh air, do what you need to do. But hey, just before that, just a few more housekeeping issues. You guys, please take a look at the memory tables in the back. My mom has 2 big, beautiful memory tables with everything that we thought that she might want on those tables. So feel free to have a look, peruse. You'll also probably notice that there's a 3rd table. That 3rd table is not for my mom, but for my dad. And it's on that table, there's a couple things. There are, you might not know, but my dad wrote a book. That book is called Never Look Back.
Don't look back.
Don't look back. Sorry, my bad. Don't look back. Now you can pre-order. We've had a print, but we're going to get it reprinted. So now, if anybody here has not bought the book, but you're interested in buying the book, Don't Look Back. Please go to the back, go to my dad's table. There's a sign-up sheet. Put your name, your email, your phone number, and then there's an amount. You can donate whatever you wish. I think we were selling it before for like $15. I don't even think we took much money, but anyway, you can leave 15 or 5 or 100. All of the proceeds, 100% is going to go to the palliative care ward at Lionsgate Hospital. Yeah. They get money, and my dad gets a boost of self-confidence for selling his goddamn book. Most importantly, you can see transcribed by Susan Robinson. So that's the key takeaway here. The other thing that my dad is very passionate about, besides hawking his own book, is giving blood. I don't know how many people here give blood, but more of you should. My dad has given exactly 100 blood donations in his life. And so if you have thought about giving blood but don't know how or just never bothered signing up, it's fine, but it's not too late. We have brochures from the Canadian Blood Services. Please do take a brochure, take a photo, and do sign up to give blood. It's in you to give. I came up with that slogan. And hey, real quick, listen, I know that this is a real safe space. You guys are lovely people. Obviously, we are connected in some way, somehow, and so I feel comfortable enough. Oh, there's a hand up. Yeah, I didn't know we were taking questions, but let's do it. They won't take it over the age of 70?
No.
No.
Or if you lived in Africa.
Or if you live in Africa. More questions, yes, please. You're 75 and you're still donating. Well, mixed messages. Give it a shot and they take your blood or they don't. It might be in you to give. Dad says they will take it over 80. Hey, again, we're gonna go to the break here real quick. Just again, safe space. So I do have a little bit of a confession to make. It's been a real emotional roller coaster, obviously, this last 2 months. And as I mentioned, I live on the other side of the world, and it's been very difficult for me to be able to go through all these photos, and even worse when I realized that I live on the other side of the world. And from this moment onward, I honestly refuse to be left out of the family fun. Wrong photo. I refuse to be left out of the family fun. This was in 2007. I was in Korea. They did a family trip to Mexico without me. And this is me in front of the Red Accordion, the restaurant of my brother. And then this last one is me in 1980. and gentlemen, we are going to take a little pause, but the last positive, I promise the last thing before the pause is we've already discussed a little bit about my mom and her love of trivia. She loved Jeopardy, answered 75% of the questions. She would love to have many of you over at our home, or she and my dad would go to your home and play Trivial Pursuit. This is the go-to game. So we're going to take a 10, maybe 15-minute break, but when we come back, we are not going to play Trivial Pursuit. But we are going to play Trivial Pursuit. I will see you back here in 15 minutes. We are now we're starting the second half of the celebration, and I think that before we get going, I just wanted to follow up with what I had mentioned earlier. Our mom was a huge trivia fan, and indeed her favorite game was Trivial Pursuit. But as I mentioned, we shall be playing Trivial Pursuit. That's the second time I fucked that one up. It's cool. Trivial Pursuit, the Susan edition. You'll see on the bottom left, ages 75 plus. So 90% of you can play. And it's perfect for 100 to 200 people. And so we have, the very first question in Trivial Pursuit, and I know that in your home games of Trivial Pursuit, you don't exactly play for prizes. Well, guess what? This ain't no regular game of Trivial Pursuit. So I'm going to ask the first question, and just to keep this as easy and quick as possible, Jamie, I would love if you could join me up here on stage, and maybe you could grab the first prize for Trivial Pursuit. And Christina, who has done hundreds and hundreds of these celebrations of lives, she said never have, in one of her celebrations of life that she's helped organize, has there been prizes. You're welcome, Mom. Cool. Hey, so what's going to happen? I'm going to ask a question about Mom. And first prize is a literal game of Trivial Pursuit. Thank you, Dennis, for picking it up earlier from Walmart. All right.
Nobody expected it to be this fun, right? Nobody expected it to be this fun, right? I felt bad for people dreading this day. This is going to be great.
So basically, I'm going to read out the question, and the first person who thinks if you think you know it, raise your hand, and the first hand I see, I will choose you. The first question is: Sue first landed in Canada in 1967. What Canadian city did Sue first land in? Right here.
I think it was Allison.
Allison.
Me?
Yeah.
Let's see one.
Sorry? Montreal is correct! Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the first round of Trivial Pursuit. Hey, we are going to move on to the Friends tributes to, oh yeah, here's a nice little article about my mom and her two friends. And then a few photos on the ship as well. But these are, we're going to move into the tributes by friends now, and the very first tribute is going to be given by our dear friend, one of the best friends of my father. Round of applause, please, for Mr. Andy Aiken.
This is a tough gig, isn't it? Buddy did cover really some of the stuff that I'll stay here, not probably say a lot. And the reason for that is because we were both together at that time, you know. I mean, I first met Sue in 1967, 57 years ago. She was a beautiful young girl of 18 years. The same night, Barry met us. I didn't realise at that time how this meeting would change my life. Barry and Sue became an item that night. Sue was only a few months from joining her brother, Roger, in Canada. Barry and Sue kept in touch by letter, and eventually Barry was convinced to give Canada a try. So Barry made the journey to Canada. And Barry kept in touch by letter, and he convinced me and another friend, Bernie, who couldn't make it tonight, to give Canada a try. And obviously we did. We're still here. Never regretted it. So our life in Canada started as meeting Sue. It's been my pleasure to witness Sue going from a teenager to only 18 to a mum trying on her in the past 57 years. She's been a great friend all these years, and for that I'm truly thankful. Me and all my family will miss her immensely. Thank you. Thank you.
One more round of applause for Andy, please. That was beautiful, and I hate to be inappropriate, but it's time for question 2 of Trivial Pursuit. In what year did Sue become a Canadian citizen? Any hands? Any hands? In the back, Harvey Lawson. 1978 is incorrect. Yes, in the back. 73 is incorrect. Yes, no, you are family. You're no. Who's here? Oh yes. 82. You're closer, but incorrect. Scott Lawson. 88. You are correct. 1988. What do we have? What do we have? We'll do this one. Jeopardy. Tom's second favorite game. This is Jeopardy. 1988. And here's her taking the oath. In fact, we just cleaned out a few days ago Mom's closet. She still has that dress and shirt. Very good. Hey, and coming up next to speak is a dear family friend and an old neighbor. Please welcome to the stage, Nancy Diedrich.
Can you adjust the microphone?
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Wow. Following the Robinsons is like I'm Herman's Hermits before the Beatles. Wow. My name is Nancy. Who the fuck is Nancy? I'm an old neighbor. I can't really pinpoint the exact month and day I met Sue. It was after Gary and I got married and moved to Appin Road neighborhood. And what a neighborhood it was. I was working in Vancouver then, busy with my job, our new home, and probably aerobics at night. It was the 80s after all. I remember coming up the street and seeing young kids rolling about the lawn at 1796, followed by a supervising sweet smile, red-headed curls, and a friendly wave. We were neighbors after all. Then I had children. That is when this beautiful, kind, and welcoming neighbor became a lifeline. She was my sippy cup towards sanity on the road to motherhood. Sue was a godsend, a gem of this earth, and she always made days brighter. Her humor, her wise reflections of life, work, motherhood, and family were invaluable. Her calm demeanor and experience were matched only by the occasional shouts of, "Jamie, get off Neil!" which gave me much to learn from. I could call her any time. No texts in those days. Just desperate pleas by phone from a young mom. "Sue! I'm trying to nurse the baby. Jeremy is shooting Tupperware all over my kitchen with a hockey stick." Her answer? "I will send Jamie and Neil over." "Sue! Megan is colicky and crying. I can't even get a shower in today." Her answer? "I will send Claire over." "Sue! Harry is really drunk." Her answer? "I will send Barry over." We shared many happy times together, and while most of you are aware that the Robinsons are a very special family, I am sure that you agree. Sue was the managing director. We moved from the neighborhood more than 30 years ago and did lose touch with some friends on the North Shore. But Sue, Barry, and the kids left indelible marks on our hearts. And we remained friends always. She was a mentor, a friend, a collaborator of Friday night pizza and Caesar orders in the cul-de-sac, and an always willing comrade in bouts of side-splitting humor. She was an absolute maestro at the art of motherhood, and I do include Barry in that band of scamps. She will be so dearly missed. I know she's smiling down and making sure everyone is okay. I'd like to leave you with a quote by Maya Angelou, which I think perfectly expresses my deep admiration of Sue and embodies who she was as a person. A great soul serves everyone all the time. A great soul never dies. It brings us together again and again. Love you, Sue.
One more round of applause for Nancy, please. Now, it doesn't get any less inappropriate. Question 3, Trivial Pursuit! What was Sue's specialty dish? Yes, no, your family, never mind, behind you. Say it again. Yorkshire? Yorkshire puddings is correct! Ding, ding, ding! Family members not allowed, Julian. Oh, hey, so this is exciting. Many of you may not have known, Mom was an avid painter. She has painted dozens of paintings. Now, the thing is, we have decided on the 2 paintings we don't like the most. And are willing to just give away as a prize.
To be fair, when I was, she called me when I was at the cabin when this was all going down, and it was crazy because we went through all of her stuff to throw out, which would be a really terrible, sad job to do, but she convinced me that it doesn't matter what happens, I won't fit in this stuff anyway. So we made it fun. FaceTime, we threw all this stuff out, it was great. I had her paintings and she was like, just whatever, just get rid of them. I was like, what the fuck do you mean get rid of your paintings? Get rid of your paintings. And she's like, I didn't think anyone would want them. So she didn't care what we did with it, obviously. We did keep a lot, but these are the 2. So we have, I don't want to give you pressure, but you're going to choose from one of them.
So we have 2 portraits of Jamie's stuff. And you just show the 2. We have one portrait of a bird, and we have another portrait of my dad. It's an ass. Okay, here we go.
Never liked the kid.
Unfortunately, that doesn't go both ways. I love you very much, Father. Look at me, taking the high road. Okay. Did we choose a painting?
Yes, the bird.
You chose the bird. Lovely, excellent. Hey, we're going to move right on, and we're going to invite the next. Oh yes, thank you very much for the. Yes, there's my sister and my mom with Yorkshire puddings. Oh, also, this is a great segue in your program, which you should have at least one per group. In the front page, there is a recipe for my mom's world famous Yorkshire puddings. Yes. Also, real quick, any British people in the house, I'm sorry that I spelled it puddings. It's pudding, right? Yorkshire pudding.
Yes.
Okay, as long as we acknowledge that. Hey, I would like to invite to the stage a dear friend of my parents, but especially my father, Mr. Derek Sales.
Everyone, I know Sue has changed the lives of many of people in here in different ways. Myself, Barry, Andy, David McCall, Chris, we all lived together at Burning Tay in Latin many years ago, and we were known as the Latin Cowboys. There was many stories about us. And we all lived together, and some of us went off to Jersey, and changed our lives a little bit. On the way, we stopped off in London. That's when I first met Sue. We all spent 6 months in Jersey, and we all came back to Vancouver, different ways. The Lagna house had gone, but then we moved to a house in Kits, the Balaclava. And that was our house, and it was a good party house where we went to parties all the time and we were invited. But this one Pacific party was in Burnaby, and me, Barry, I can't remember if Andy went, but about 4 of us went, and it was a good party. And during the night, we're looking around, it was near the end, and I saw this little lady in the corner. I thought, oh, I'm going to have a little chat to that lady. And went and chatted and everything, and we were getting along really good. Anyway, I said, oh, let's go for a walk, which we did, and had a little chat. I said to her, would you like to come back for a cup of tea? It's a my place. She said, where's that? I said, it's in Balaclava. She said, oh no, I only live around the corner. And then we two of my pals and thought, well, that's a bit of bad luck, isn't it? That is. Anyway, nothing happened, and the next morning I sat with Sue. We always had a chat. She always called me Dec. She says, hey Dec, that was a good party last night. I said, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, Sue. And I said, yeah, and I met a nice little lady there. And she said, yeah, I saw you talking to her. She said, are you going to phone her? I said, well, I found her phone number this morning, but she didn't put a name on it. So she said, well, do you remember her name? I said, no, I couldn't remember her name. So she said, oh, blimey. Are you going to try calling? I said, I can't call it. I don't know her name. I said, you're going to have to do me a favour, Sue. Why don't you phone it? She said, oh no, Dec, I won't. Go on. She said, all right. So she phoned it, and a lady at the other end, she said, oh, I think I was talking to you last night. She said, no, it wouldn't have been me. It would have been my daughter. I have 2 daughters. One's Brenda, 14, and the other one's Debbie, 18. So it must have been Debbie. She said, oh, she's not here right now, but give her she'll be back in about an hour. So I said, okay. So she said, okay. So she said, here you are, Dec. Her name's Debbie. I said, no, I'm not going to come. And she says, come on, Dec. Come on, Dec. Phone her. Anyway, 40 years later, 3 children, 6 grandchildren. That little phone call changed my life. It soothed me. I just have to add one little thing. On our way to Jersey, on our way back, Barry and Sue stayed at my house for a couple of nights with my mum and dad. And my mum was a real character. She loved her little drink. And my mum's name was Alice. Sue is sat with Alice having a nice drink. God bless you, Sue. I'll never forget you. Rest in peace.
Another round of applause for Ron, everybody, please. Ron will be coming up soon, not quite yet. Hey, I think maybe we have in Trivial Pursuit 6 questions. We have Friends Tributes to Mom, 6 people, but one person just asked if they could have a chance to say a word. And considering the impact that this man has had on our lives, I would be remiss to not accept his invitation. So please, Dr. John Lenoble. John Lenoble, my mom, as I mentioned, was a medical transcriptionist, and Dr. Lenoble was, I guess, my mom's main source of income. So thanks for that university tuition.
It was from me when Susan retired. I typed this myself, so it's not got the usual Susan Robinson quality. I know we're all here to celebrate our love. For Susan. Thank you, Gary, Claire, Chris, Jamie, Neil, Camilla, Ruby, and Julian, for allowing me a few minutes to relate my thoughts about our wonderful friend. I will take you back to 1984. I was a newly minted medical professional on the North Shore. A trusted physician friend of mine suggested I contact Susan about typing. I was, at that time, sharing office space with well-loved Dr. David Kell. David's secretary was a well-renowned bitch. When Susan presented my first tranche of reports, the originals were perfect. Susan apologized for the yellow newsprint chart copies, explaining that she would soon be producing better quality. Joan was quite clear that I should not accept this shoddy work. I'm not exactly sure how much my decision that day was based on my disdain for Joan, but many times over the next 40 years, I thank myself for cementing the arrangement with Susan. Susan was a tireless worker, always available to meet a last-minute request. If I called with no warning after 5 p.m., she would sometimes inform me that happy hour had started and that work might wait the morning. I think at times she soldiered on, making 1 or 2 hours per glass of Chardonnay. Susan's efficiency was even greater during the winter when she was on Mexican time and so 2 hours ahead. So I could, or between the two of us, we produced very rapid document production. Susan was serious about educating me in proper English. To heck with Grammarly. We are in Canada. Canada is a member of the British Commonwealth. British English is what we do. So program is Programme. Behavior is Behavior. And maneuver is Oeuvre. Punctuation was not so well established. We never did get straight how to deal with my favorite diphthong, or ellipses, which are those things you put in when something is missing out of a quote, let alone the disappointing Oxford comma. Susan never realized, or if she did realize, she never held it against me, my failed attempt at using Dragon voice recognition dictation. After 2 or 3 laborious and botched attempts, fingers aching and mind wasted, I realized the importance of having Susan scan my work for inconsistencies. Susan serviced me with innumerable office staff changes was somewhat akin to the reign of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, spanning some 15 prime ministers. Were there a Booker or Pulitzer Prize in transcription, Susan would have been the recipient. I did feel kind of bad for a while declining Susan's request for a pay increase. Susan simply inserted more spaces between the lines and typed, increasing the paycheck. I always enjoyed paying Susan. I always enjoyed paying Susan promptly, within a few minutes of seeing her invoice, if possible. We established that the code word for e-transfer was Neil's base, Amsterdam. I like to create ridiculous secret questions like, where are the Tokyo Olympics? Or, where is the Eiffel Tower? Hoping some stealthy communication was frustrating some would-be codebreaker. I would be remiss if I didn't advise the Robinsons on the 1-year dream. 1 year to the day after my own mother crossed the bar, she appeared to me in a very vivid dream. Why haven't you visited me? My mother admonished. We thought you were dead, I countered. I didn't die, you fucker. Receding into the mist. 6 or 8 months ago, I was thinking that my wife and I had never sat down for a meal or even coffee with Susan and Mary. Although Susan and I spoke often and at great length over the phone, I thought it would be good to take it to the next level. I want to make it clear, my regret, the importance of reaching out for any of you in a similar circumstance. Saying goodbye to Susan is to be a long and painful process. She was accessible to me so readily and for so long. I'm working very hard to stop myself thinking, I'll just ask Susan, especially as I know she is still here among us. Thank you.
Round of applause for John, please. And again, it's just, there's no good way to say this. Question 4, Trivial Pursuit!
Got your pudding!
You what?
Got your pudding!
I missed it. What is it? Oh, Yorkshire pudding. Oh, yeah. That's the prize, Yorkshire pudding. And question 4. When she landed in Montreal, what kind of dancer did she become? Kathy.
Go-go!
Go-go dancer is correct! Yes. The answer is go-go dancer. Enjoy the portrait of Barry Robinson. And I apologize to my brother and sister for this video. Can't see your face. This is Mom. That was Mom. You couldn't see your face, but it definitely was taken by a PR. Yeah, she was a go-go dancer. We just saw this footage. This is part of the footage we saw when my mom was commentating from her hospital room and we were at home. And we always knew she was a go-go dancer, but as soon as we saw that she was wearing a skirt that short, it was less go-go dancer, and we're like, stop! Hey, we're back on track now because I would like to invite to the stage the next speaker, a dear friend of my mom and dad in Mexico, Mr. Ron Lapp, everybody.
Been adjusting my notes a little bit as the speeches went on. And first, I have to say, what incredible speeches by the family.
Yes.
It wasn't that. And like Jamie, sorry, I don't really enjoy doing this an awful lot, but I have done it over the years. So I just could not let myself not say something at this ceremony. Starting to become very close friends of ours. And actually, the incredible thing is, we have known them probably the shortest time of any of you in this room. We met very well. I'll get back to my script here in 1 second, but one other thing I want to say. Gail, my wife Gail, who's a nurse, used to work for Canadian Blood Services and did blood donations all the time there, and realizes just how important and what a great thing that was. And if you have any questions about what age and all that good stuff, you can check with So anyway, as I said, my name is Ron Lapp, my wife Gail and I live in Winnipeg. And and we've probably known Barry and Sue for the shortest amount of time here today. We are so fortunate to have met them and connected right away. We became very close friends. Absolutely. And you know, I look around and I see the years and the ages and all you lucky people. You know, for Gail and I to meet Barry just in 2023, and even more so, it was like we really only spent 7 weeks together in person. I mean, we were there in 2023 for 4 weeks, and then this year for 3 weeks. But we connected with Barry and Sue. We just, I don't know, we hit it off. We had fantastic times, and I better get back to my script here. So we met Barry and Sue at a resort called Bahia del Sol, which is a beautiful place. I know Barry and Sue loved it. How many years did you guys go there, Barry?
17.
17 years ago, that's right. Oh my God. So we were there just two, and we were just lucky enough to meet him. We enjoyed their company right away. We visited with them on the beach regularly and really started to get to know them when Sue organized her trivia game, as we've all heard about her trivia. So Sue put together this fantastic trivia question game. You know, 40 to 50 people would come down. We'd have a potluck supper, maybe a couple drinks during and after, you know, and
what's happened is 3.
maybe 3. Yeah. Oh, I was going to say, I never drank beer before I met Barry. Actually. So now I get a beer and you know, think about it. But, so we had a great time there, and we started hearing these stories about Barry and Sue coming from England and all these adventures and Paul McCartney. And we said, holy cow, man, these guys are, this is some really interesting stuff. And then Gail, we were fascinated with the stories, and Gail said, gee, Barry, you should write a book about those adventures. To our surprise, he told us that his family had insisted that he should write a book. And then he actually written one, and might even have a copy in his suite that we might be able to So we do have a copy. Gail has read it in its entirety. I've written most of it, and today I've got some of the stories, and it's great to meet some of the people that are in your book, and I want to chat with them later. And, it's outstanding.
There are some people that have read the book and don't speak to me anymore.
So anyway, that was the first, at the end of March 2023, we went our separate ways, and we got Barry and Sue's email and some of the other people, and we said, let's stay in touch, and hopefully we'll see you guys next year. So they told us they were going back in 2024, and we said, fantastic, we get to see them a little more and get together. And so we got down to Bahia del Sol, which means under the sun, for those, and in the beginning of March 20, and it was during this time that we really got to know Barry and Sue. We sat beside each other pretty much every single day. We chatted about everything. What did I write down there? We talked about family, sports, politics, our mutual disdain for certain politicians. So the board of Barry, we covered a lot of stuff. I know Gail and Sue talked about Escape to the Country. They both love to watch that TV show. And we just talked every day. And yeah, maybe had a couple beers and chips as the day went.
3.
Maybe 3, yeah. And then we switched around far around. So anyways, we went out to dinner numerous times, and we got together in Barry and Sue's unit to watch sporting events. They had the most amazing cable hookup. You guys could get TV from virtually everywhere.
Thanks to Sue.
Yeah, thanks to Sue, okay. And so they would invite us over for hockey games and any other sort of soccer game. We could relate to some stuff. And we started watching Vancouver Canuck games, who Barry and Sue were huge fans of. And of course, I told them he had to cheer for the Winter Jets on occasion. And we agreed that we would cheer for each other's team, which was made easier by the fact that the Jets and the Canucks rarely had to face off against each other. So that didn't, but when they did face, they did meet one time, and I think the Canucks hammered the Jets 5-0 or something. It wasn't a very good night, but I think Barry helped me with a couple of rum and coke, and that made the evening a bit easier. So after we got home, 2024, we communicated with Barry and Sue. Well, okay, Sue, most of the time. I would send Sue a Facebook message, and she'd get back to me. And we arranged to have phone calls or video calls during some hockey games, and just kept it up and just enjoyed the interaction. The Jets and the Canucks both made the playoffs, so we were both pretty interested in that. And what am I doing here? Well, and then eventually the Oilers won. I'm not an Oilers fan, and but Sue told me in her normal pragmatic way that this cheer for the Oilers because they're a Canadian team, and we got to cheer for them. So I tried to do that, but I got to admit I really couldn't cheer for the Oilers. So things got busy, and the communication between us and Stu lessened. I didn't think too much about it. But after a while, I thought I'd better reach out and catch up. Sue was pretty consistent in sending messages and staying in touch, and I was feeling guilty that, geez, I better get something out there. So I sent her a couple of messages, and then on June 18th, I got a voicemail on Facebook. Showed up on my phone from Sue that hit Gil and I like a ton of bricks. She told us that she was not so great, and rather than trying to type an explanation as to what was going on, she left about a 4 or 5 minute voice message explaining what had happened. She told us about her health issues and that she had been in and out of the hospital, but things seemed to sound better, and there was a positive tone, and we felt at that time that things were in hand, or at least under control, which should be good. Well, as we all know, that wasn't the case. We got busy we had some guests from Australia, and we got busy trying to entertain them. And then the next thing we heard, Sue was not doing well and was very ill. Gil and I felt sick about that and tried to reach out further. And then the next message we got was that she left us. We had wanted to get in touch, but it didn't happen. And then it was like a thundercloud. So we were heartbroken to hear the news, and it was hard to believe that she was gone. So I don't want to carry on too long, but I just want to say that we had hoped to get out to Vancouver, and maybe that wouldn't have been the best thing anyway at that time with what was happening. But we really wanted to be here today to celebrate Sue's life and see Barry again and meet the family. We heard so much about all of you, and it's a real pleasure for us to finally meet you and see the legacy of Sue and Barry. And it's been fantastic. And we'll never, we will never forget. Sue, we love you, and you will be in our hearts always. It was an absolute pleasure to know you, and even for such a short time, which it really was. But it felt like we knew you as well as we know him, and we cherish that. So we will honor your life today through this celebration, and you will never be forgotten by any of us here today. So much. This
and one more round of applause for Ron, please. Great. So we only have one more speaker left. As we've discussed already, this is not appropriate. Question 5, a Trivial Pursuit. And the question is, what was Sue's childhood nickname? There's a family member who's considering putting up her hand. Yes. Incorrect. Yes. Also incorrect.
We're gonna throw it out. Big Sue.
Big Sue is incorrect. Yes.
Ginger Tom.
Ginger Tom is correct. Yes. Congratulations. Kiwi. Hey, wait, Jamie. So there are 2 questions left, 2 prizes, and both prizes are from, my business and Jamie's business. Jamie's business is the Red Accordion, which is an amazing restaurant right next to Stanley Park. What street is it on? Alberni. If you have not been to the Red Accordion yet, do yourselves a favor. Please do check out the Red Accordion. And there's a $100 gift certificate to the Red Accordion. And the second prize, which I think you're going to hand to Kiwi, is a gift certificate from my company, which is those damn boat guys. It's a free private tour. The only catch, you have to buy the plane ticket to Amsterdam yourself. Congratulations, Kiwi. And so we just have one last speaker left, and that one last speaker is a dear friend of the family, a dear friend of my sister, and an individual who played a critical role not only in our childhood, but also helping put together this entire event. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Miss Allison Cousins.
Megan, Claire, Aaron, me, Simone, Lee.
There's no red line about it.
There's no red line.
Yeah.
Wow. So the thing about blessed childhood is you don't know how blessed it is until much later in life. Whew. So my name's Allison, or Ale, as Sue would say. To paint the picture, I grew up as part of a gaggle of kids who were friends from kindergarten at Eastview Elementary to graduation at Sutherland Secondary. In that gaggle, Claire, Megan, and I were the three musketeers, straight through school as well as girl guides and some very questionable hairstyles. Our brothers, Neil, Sean, and Paul, were also the same age and grew up together through school and Valley Boys soccer and a few questionable life choices for which I have photos to prove. Unfortunately, my parents weren't sharpshooters like Barry, so we had no playmate for Jamie. Parents are here, okay. Our moms, my mom Jan, Meg's mom Kath, and Sue, were truly our moms. I don't know if there was ever an official announcement or some kind of collusion by the moms, but it was obvious to me growing up that there was a path watching out for us. Imagine the life, the community, the love one might receive, when they grew up in a pack. Many more friends than I mentioned tonight, and a pack of moms as powerful as ours. It was as good and better than you can imagine. I just didn't know how lucky I was at the time. Memories of the Robinson family are knitted into the fabric of my heart forever. And Sue was so often at the helm. Countless rides to school, Starbucks, Dairy Queen, friends' houses, Robson Street during the 1994 Canucks run to the playoffs. The stories Sue could tell about all of us kids who all felt so comfortable chatting about our lives in the back of that brown car. The Robinson home was a home base for so many of us, a place where all the kids felt welcome, where we had freedom and fun. I bet there isn't a North Van 80s or 90s kid who doesn't have memories made in the Robinson basement pub, the Red Lion, in their Highland Rail. I loved it in the Robinson home, but the basement wasn't the reason. I simply felt welcome, at ease, calm, happy, and so much of that was because of Sue. I felt accepted, to be sometimes the outgoing, curious, pestering kid with too much to say and too many opinions about things I really knew nothing about. but also the deeply sensitive and a bit unsure of herself girl who didn't always feel like she fit in. And Sue made space for all of it. I don't have crazy stories about Sue. I have a feeling. And we already had a beautiful quote by Maya Angelou, and I'm going to share another one that I thought for sure would have been shared by now. They will forget what you said, they will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. I felt welcome, I felt accepted, but I also felt watched over. There was a safety in that. I knew there was a line not to be crossed around Sue. She never told me where it was, but I knew it was there. She drew it differently, with her steady presence, her quick wit, her sharp awareness, and overall boss energy. There was never a forcefulness about her, but there was an undeniable power. There's no greater gift for a child beyond the gift of a loving family, which I was very blessed to have, than a second one, and a third one. I thought of Sue the other day when a string of 10-year-old boys, about 10 minutes apart, knocked on my door to come play with my son. As an extroverted introvert with a high-stress response to mess and chaos, I took a deep breath as the decibels rose, and I remembered the indelible mark of being welcomed by Sue those many times and over all those years. Hi, Addie. Now she's inspired how I want to be a pack mom for my kids and their friends. And yet, since Sue's passing, I've learned she's so much more than I knew. A go-go dancer. I never knew the Sue that took center stage. I only knew the one who put her family in the center of everything. I wish there was more time. I could have learned so much more. And in these years of life, I would have known how lucky I am to be in her orbit. And I hope I would have told her more, because what I know about Sue is that she didn't spend a moment thinking about who might be thinking about her or wanting credit. Let it be said, and it has been in so many beautiful ways, most of which by you. In all the colors and shades of all the stories we each have to share, what an amazing woman Sue was. Woman, mom, pack mom, wife, Barry. The way you looked at her until the very end makes me want to ask for her secret and her side of your love story. Sue, I look up to you. I'll always remember you. I'm forever grateful to be a part of your pack, and I love you. And to you, beautiful humans, Neil, Jamie, Barry, and my girl Claire. There's two kinds of hearts, and I said this to you, Claire, because I know you the best, but I got to watch all of you. This last little while, there's two kinds of hearts in this world. There's the kind that break, and they don't work anymore, because they try to protect themselves. And there's the kind that break, and let that expansion fill with more love. And that's what you have all done. She was, as you all know, so molded and strengthened by your strength in the impossible journey of letting her go. And a woman who spent her life dedicated to taking care of everybody would be so proud of how you're taking care of each other. I love you guys.
One more time for Allison. Yeah, that was beautiful. Thank you so much. And thank you to all of the speakers, friends and family, of course. And we are almost, we have just a couple more things left. Of course, we have one more question. This is the final question. The final question of Trivial Pursuit. Are you guys sick of it yet? You seem tired. I don't know. We're gonna wrap it up. This is question number 6. Question number 6. You already know the prize. His restaurant. The question is, what volunteer position did Sue have? Yes, Sue Gedge.
She volunteered for the Olympics when they were back in.
Ding, ding, ding! You are correct. She volunteered for the Olympics. Now, if you notice, the last one, R. By the way, did we see what it spelled out? We got that? Yeah, cool. Ginger. It's usually categories. Anyways, the last category, Girl Guide Leader, was the answer we had, but as you see below, also would have accepted Greeter at the Olympics, Big Sister, and Cancer Fundraiser. And here we have a photo of her as a Girl Guide Leader, and as a 2010 Winter Olympics volunteer. Now, hey, before we wrap it up completely, we really just have 2 last things. Well, basically, the last thing, Claire already covered some of it, but I would like to just take this moment before the Life in Photos section. How delayed are we? Oh. Yeah, 5:30. Oh my God. Thank God we put ish in it. I'm so sorry. We have half an hour left. The mingles and drinks should have happened by now. Anyways, very quickly, thank yous. Thank you to Alison Cousins, as we mentioned, for all of her work. Emily Ashton for the flowers. Josh Neusfeld. Round of applause for Josh, everybody. Taking photos. Thank you for the greeters. That's Scott Lawson, dear friend, Rick True, and Ken Britton. Thank you guys for all of your work. Thanks again to Camilla Lonois. Camilla, where are you? Oh, right there. Jamie's girl. Round of applause for Camilla, please. Thank you to our cousin Chris Sleep. It's well past midnight in England, and thank you, Chris, and to anybody else who's also staying up in the UK right now watching by live stream. Chris helped put together the slideshow, which we are about to see now. Thank you to Melissa Dabrowski. Where's Melissa? Not in the room, that's fine. She works for Gleneagles, and she helped us out to be able to get this room. Thank you so much. And yeah, I think that is about it for all the thank yous. And if I missed somebody, I apologize. Thank you guys once again for coming out, and also people on the live stream. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so close. You've done great. Once again, before we wrap up and see the slideshow, don't forget to pick up your seeds. Don't forget to fill out your memory card, any memory you have from Mom, so we can read it later. Ladies and gentlemen, with that said, we are now at, we'd like to show you the slideshow, basically a life in photos of our dear Mom. But before that, I'd like to introduce once again my sister.
Okay, wonderful, Nick, as you said, there's a lot more food. So you're probably hungry and thirsty. It's a bit of a marathon session. Okay, so please make sure you have a refreshment afterwards. But anybody who's way in the back, I wanted to take a moment. If you'd like to move forward, I feel like you may not see the screen very well back there, so you can just come and get cozy. And I know I would prefer to see the pictures from closer up, so just don't be shy. If you'd like to move up, there's a couple of spare seats, and yeah, we'll all cozy up.
Yeah, great. And we have this room till 6 o'clock. This is supposed to be at 4:30. We're an hour late. It's totally expected. But point is, we're going to watch this slideshow. We'll have 15 minutes or so for drinks. We'll see. We're way late now. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the slideshow. Thank you.
are places I remember all my life, though some have changed, some forever, not for better. Some have gone and some remain. All these places had their moments with lovers and friends I still can recall. Some are dead and some are living. In my life, I've loved them all. But of all these friends and lovers, there is no one compares with you. And these memories lose their meaning when I think of love as something new. Though I know I'll never lose affection for people and things that went before. I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life, I love you more. Though I know I'll never lose affection for people and things that went before. I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life, I love you more. In my life, I love you more. When the winter rains come pouring down on that new home of mine, will you think of me and wonder if I'm fine? Will your restless heart come back to mine on a journey through the past? Will I still be in your eyes and on your mind? Now I'm going back to Canada on a journey through the past. And I won't be back till February comes. I will stay with you if you'll stay with me. Set the fiddler to the drum, and we'll have good time on a journey through the past. When the winter rains come pouring down on that new home of mine, will I still be in your eyes and on your mind? Will I still be in your eyes and on your mind? was a house built out of stone, wooden floors, walls and window sills, tables and chairs warmed by all of the dust. This is a place where I don't feel alone. This is a place where I feel at home. I built a home for you, for me, until you disappeared from me, from you. It's time to live and time to out in the garden where we planted the seeds, there is a tree as old as me. Branches were sold by the color of green. The ground had a rose then past its knees. By the cracks of his skin I climbed to the top. I climbed the tree to see the world. When the guys came around to blow me down, held on as tightly as you held on to me, held on as tightly as you held on to me. rows and flows of angel hair, and ice cream castles in the air, and feather canyons everywhere. Looked at clouds that way, but now they only block the sun. They rain and they snow on everyone. So many things I would have done, but clouds got in my way. I've looked at clouds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's cloud illusions I recall. I really don't know clouds. At all. Moons and Junes and Ferris wheels, the dizzy dancing way that you feel as every fairy tale comes real. I've looked at love that way, but now it's just another show. And you leave them laughing when you go. And if you can, don't let them know. Don't give yourself away. I've looked at love from both sides now, from give and take, and still somehow it's love's illusions that I recall. I really don't know love. I really don't know love at all. And feeling proud to say I love you right out loud. Dreams and schemes and circus crowds, I've looked at life that way. Oh, but now old friends, they're acting strange, and they shake their heads and they tell me that I've changed. Well, something's lost, but something's gained in living every day. I've looked at life from both sides now, from win and lose, and still somehow it's life's illusions I recall. I really don't know life at all. It's life's illusions that I recall. I really don't know life. I really don't know life at all.
Yeah, wow, that was really beautiful and emotional. And as far as that last clip, the butterflies, my Uncle Roger took that footage in the 1960s or 70s. He doesn't even remember. But the reason why that was included by our cousin Chris, thanks again, Chris, is because my mom, before she passed, she said, look out for butterflies. If you ever see a butterfly that's doing something, not like a normal butterfly just doing regular shit, if it's a butterfly doing something weird, doing like, wow, what the hell is that butterfly? That's mom. And so I think that's very appropriate. And hey, we're way too long. We are way overdue, but it doesn't matter because it all went down exactly as it was meant to go down. I want to thank you guys all for coming out. There's one last joke. I don't even know if it's worth it. Okay, real quick. This is the Gleneagles. Why did my parents pick Gleneagles? They loved eagles. My mom loved being at the cabin to watch eagles. And they also loved, of course, Eagle View, the new development. And they also loved the Eagle Coaster up Cypress. And they also enrolled us in Eastview Elementary, where they had the Eastview Eagles, and also here at the Gleneagles. And to wrap it all up, we're going to end with a song, which is Hotel California, my most favorite song, at least for the joke, by the Eagles. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for coming out. Stick around, have a great Eagle food, and please do it.